Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's strategy session. So today is the last strategy session for this year. Wow, I'm so excited. So the past weeks have been really amazing and phenomenal, and it's just really amazing to see how that we've learned so much in the past weeks. It has been really amazing. So I want to say welcome to everybody again today, and we're talking about planning your 2021. But before we go ahead and start and hand it over to Sawina, I'll just briefly in 1 or 2 minutes just go over what we discussed last week. So last week we talked about how that you too can build the economy of Nigeria, and some key things that was shared last week is that there are so many problems facing Africa, looking for energetic individuals to solve those problems. So you and I are actually the ones that can actually solve the problems that Africa is facing. So one thing that Sawina mentioned last week that was phenomenal is that we should understand how our youthfulness is a gift. So these years that we're currently in are the best years of our life where we can carve a path for our lives. And then something that he mentioned was that we should stop thinking from the perspective of getting a job, but we should change our mentality to focus on solving a problem. So he said, let problem solving be the driving force that keeps you going every day. So something else I was mentioning is that you have to utilize your skills for development. So he said that do not think that your skill is not enough to change the situation of Nigeria. You have to know that your skill can actually change the situation of Nigeria. So first of all, you have to identify those skills that you have. Then you have to identify a problem that you really want to solve. Then if you need to upskill to be able to meet the challenge that you want to solve, then upskill and then focus on solving that problem. Something key that was mentioned last week is that money is not your problem. Your problem is not money. Your problem is not money. So the reason why you will not achieve the things that you set out to achieve is not because of money or because of lack of knowledge. So all you need to do is get the right idea, be committed to learning and acquiring knowledge, then establish the right partnership. When you have all these things in place, resources will come. And another thing that I think I need to mention is that we need to dare to dream. What Nigeria needs is actually dreamers. So dare to dream, dare to dream. The sky is so wide for dreamers. So all those things, all those plans, those visions that you have, those business plans that you just dream and then begin to put things in place to achieve all of that. So that is a brief snippet of what we actually discussed last week. So at this point, I would like to hand it over to Sawina to take us ahead in the meeting. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, French. Hello, everyone. It's a privilege to be here again today. I hope to make it a very short exhortation, and it's like consolidating on the momentum we've successfully built throughout the first part of this ROGP sessions. And this is the end of the year, and we're about moving into 2021. I just want to establish some basic facts. We know these things, but we need to be reminded of them. You know, C.S. Lewis said that one of the reasons why we go to church is to be reminded of those things which we already know. But we need continuous reminders. Fundamentally, I want to let you know that time flies. Time flies. Time flies. If God gives you life, December 2021 is not far away from today. I know most of us can recall when we entered January 1st. I still remember very well. I was in Atlanta. I was in Atlanta in Georgia, January 1st with some friends and all that. And look where we are. Can you imagine how fast that is? I saw the anniversary picture of one of my friends that got married November last year, and I was like, whoa, so fast, 1 year already. It still feels like yesterday. So why am I saying all these things? Whatever you are postponing it's time to bring them over and start now. Whatever you've been postponing, it's time to bring them over and start now. So first of all, I also like to say this. If you decide to treat this December the way you've been treating other Decembers, and then wake up January 1st with a New Year resolution, you will have the exact same results you got at the end of this year by the end of 2021. Life is repeatable. Success is repeatable. There are no coincidences. I don't believe there are coincidences in life. So if you decide to treat this period of the year the same way you treated other ones, you will have exactly the same results you've been having over the years. Jesus said, which of you building a house does not first sit down to count the cost and see if he would be able to finish that which he has started? So the fundamental of doing anything great in life is to first of all sit down and count the cost. So when I talk about something great this time around, I'm talking about your life. So whatever you want your life to be like by 2021 December, by this time 2021, where you want to be. Now I gave us a lot of indices in the past sessions that make for a wholesome dream. Thinking about giving, for example, and not just receiving. These are things that should inform the scope of our dreams for 2021. So gather all that we've learned for this year, throughout this year, gather all of those things together and sit down this Christmas. Don't just go and start partying. Oh, it's holidays. Oh, it's this. You need to sit down this Christmas to gather your entire being together and plan for next year. I normally say this: if God gives you life, and I personally hope he would, you have so many more Decembers to celebrate. If you decide to waste this December, you will struggle for so many other Decembers of your life. But if you decide to invest this December, you will enjoy liberty for a good part of your life. So I would personally advise you to make the choice of investing this December. I have my own plans already. There are things, specific, concrete things I want. I can't wait for the Christmas break because I just want to get out, go to a city away with a friend where I can relax and do the things I want to do in preparation for 2021. Coincidences don't happen. What you don't prepare for, I know miracles happen, but many a time miracles tie into how prepared we are. That's why so many people will see a lot of opportunities and skip them. One man will meet that same opportunity and then discover that that's an answer to something he had been looking for a long time. So why was it that a lot of persons skipped the same opportunity? So you see, the man that had been searching around and preparing for it, once the opportunity shows up, it clicks. That's how it happens. Many of the things you call miracles, simply opportunities meeting preparedness. God has his part to play. You have your part to play. So I advise you to spend your December wisely. First of all, sit down and think about this year. You see, people that have learned the art of self-appraisal, they do well in life. Sincere self-appraisal. How far did I go this year? Did I meet my goals? Am I better than I was in January? These are things you need to really sit down and ask yourself. Where did I miss it? Why couldn't I continue on the goal I set for myself? What were the things that hindered the achievement of these goals? You need to map them out and be very clear about them. In quality optimization, in Six Sigma, there's something called a fishbone chart. Basically, when you want to isolate a problem, find out the cause, the root cause analysis, do the root cause analysis of a problem, you draw this fishbone chart and you kind of map out so many potential reasons why the problem exists. And you check each of those reasons. If they are not the cause of the problem, if they don't solve the problem, you take them out of the chart until you finally nail it down to the real causes of the problem. So what does it do for you? You are able to pinpoint the root of your problem and know how to tackle it. So many of us need to draw a fishbone chart. You can Google it later. Many of us need to draw a fishbone chart for our lives in 2020. Why did my plans and vision for 2020 not materialize? You need to know the reason. Don't go about assuming things. You need to know the reason, because it will prepare you for a maximum output in 2020 to 2021. So if you know these things and figure out where you got it wrong, don't always explain things away. I say this. Don't always, if you failed, ask yourself why you failed. If you failed, ask yourself why you failed. Why did I get it wrong? What did I miss? What could I have done better that I didn't do? If you're able to, if you're able to do these things, you will position yourself well for the next stage. And that is having a goal, concrete. Don't put too much goals. Having concrete goals for 2021. For example, myself, there's a book I wish to write in 2021. It's one of my, not just write, I need to have it out at the level and quality I want by the middle of 2021. It's vivid, I have it clearly. For some of us, there are platforms we need to generate in 2021. The Bible said in Habakkuk 2:4, write the vision down, make it plain that he that reads my wrong. So write it down clearly, start developing the drafts this December. Don't wait till January. People that make their resolutions in January, on January 1st, they don't achieve anything. Statistics are there to show that. So take your time to set out a map for 2021 prayerfully. I'm a Christian, I keep saying this. I believe in the power of prayers. Prayerfully set out a map for 2021 and present it to God. But you must do your part by being vivid about these things. Concrete ideas, not I want to be a good programmer. I want to be a good programmer is not a plan. The plan says by July 2021, I should be able to develop an app with JavaScript, and so language. By July 2021, I should be able to use these 3 languages to develop an app. So it's a plan that has a goal, a tangible goal you can resonate with. So set such goals for yourself. One of my goals for this year is, with respect to my research, there was a milestone I wanted to hit, and I'm almost 95% to hitting that milestone. That's why I'm working so hard to hit it before the Christmas break. I was clear about it, and I've been working on it for the past 6 months. So have a clear goal, well written, direct, with milestones that you can measure. Not something vague, milestones that you can, if you want to write a book, okay, how many pages do you want the book to be? How many chapters? By this time, this next year, I should have written half of this book up to this page. Mark these things. And remember, time flies. If you don't learn anything today, learn that time flies. Look, believe me, time flies. You see that thing that you are planning to do, that thing you are delaying, that thing that God is laying in your heart, that course that you are meant to register for, that training that you are meant to start, and you are like, oh, hi, this thing will take 3 years. Let me tell you, before you close your eyes and open, 3 years will come and meet you, and you would not have done it. Time flies. I normally say this, the best way to do anything in life is to start. Commit yourself. When I had to write GRE then, I knew that because of my work, if I kept waiting to prepare well to write GRE, I will never prepare enough. You will never be ready enough to do what has been laid in your heart to do. Do you know what I did? Because I had already learned the power of commitment. Do you know what I did? I went to a GRE registration center. I told them that I just want to pay, that I'm not yet ready to pick a date. I just want to commit my money. They said, okay, I had not yet gotten international passport. So immediately I paid that money because I had committed 50,000 naira. My spirit, soul, and body knew that I must prepare for this exam. But it's a formula that has helped me. The best way to do a thing is to commit yourself. It's commitment. So I don't know what your plans are for 2021. Spend this Christmas break wisely. Gather all you've learned. Look, you can find yourself where you least expected by December. I told you something about being a dreamer. You can find yourself where you cannot imagine now by Christmas. Trust me, the grace you need is available. More often than not, what is someone listening to me can be a New York Times bestseller by December next year. It is possible. I don't believe in impossibilities. You can become a Microsoft programmer by December next year. It's very possible. Very, very possible. You can be the founder of a company that would employ 30 people by next year, December. It is very possible. But it starts with your ability to see the possibility. So can you really sit down this December and see? I have a lady, a female, a wonderful friend of mine, a lady. By this time, last year, or even beginning of this year, she was struggling even with accommodation in Lagos. Today, she's so comfortable. She has so honed her skill in programming. She's doing a lot of, she's in Nigeria and doing a lot of job for many firms you can't imagine. In fact, a lot has happened in her life this Christmas. She was just giving me tons of testimony. In the same economy of Nigeria, people are still buying cars. But this was someone that was struggling with accommodation not too long ago. That tells you how much that can happen within a space of 1 year. Believe that you can find yourself at heights you this. Okay, now we dropped in my spirit. I've been seeing a lot of. There are many opportunities around you. Believe me, but opportunities have a way of gravitating to people that are prepared, people that are searching. People that are searching. Do you know that there are many fellowships, international fellowships that gather young people in Nigeria that show, you don't necessarily need to be the best leader, but people that show the potential for leadership. They gather them, train them, and even go as far as sponsoring them with funds to start up things. They are happening around you, beneath your noses in Lagos, but many of us don't know that they're happening. Why? Because we don't think in that direction. So these opportunities come and pass us by without us knowing. How many of us know that there's something called Carlington Fellowship organized by US Embassy? And trust me, many of us that are here already have enough profiles to be one of the candidates. But because we can't see these things, we have not even come to a point where we can create even a good CV enough to apply for such things. A CV that is good enough to apply for such things because of the limitations that we have. So what am I saying? Plan your December well. Become a dreamer this December. Sit down. Take some days out while others are marrying. I'm not saying it's bad. Why I plan to hang out with some friends at different places in Houston, probably by God's grace, by this Christmas. But take some time out and plan your life. Invest this year. I don't know why I'm insisting on this. Invest this Christmas. You have so many Decembers to come. And by God's grace, I'm trusting God to keep everyone listening to me to that life by the end of next year. So that's all I want to tell you. I just want to encourage you concerning next year. You've learned so much. Many of the things some of us learned through this session, trust me, over 95% of Nigerian youths like you don't know these things. They do not know these things. You are privileged to be hearing them. You are privileged to understand the things you understand now. Invest this December. Be a dreamer. Understand that time flies. Retrieve all your dreams. Those ones, the situation of things in Nigeria made you lose. Those things you were thinking about, that masters you could have enrolled in, that you didn't because you felt you couldn't fund it. Bring all those dreams back. Bring them back. Become a dreamer once again. That's my challenge to you. Become a dreamer once again this December. Dare to dream. Dare to dream. One of the greatest things I've learned is that the miracle you are looking for is on the way. The miracle will not meet you where you are. When you step out, the miracle will come. I've had a lot of miracles in my life, but many of them came when I stepped out. For some of you, your problem, you feel you can't fund your masters. Your problem is not funding. Get that admission first. That's what I tell people. Oh, I said, no, don't tell me anything about the funding. Get the admission first. I believe in a principle, when we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. Get that admission first. You don't know how much resources. For example, somebody just contacted me recently about a pastor's daughter that got admission to a nursing school. Her school fees was 100 and something. People from different places. It was a pastor friend that contacted me. I contributed the much I could. But as we speak, he contacted me on Wednesday. As we speak, the deadline for the payment was this Friday. As we speak, they have finally paid her fees. And she's starting nursing school. Now, let me tell you, what if that girl was looking at the pocket of her parents and felt like, oh, it's of no use writing this exam. It's of no use applying. I don't have money. She will still be where she will still remain where she was by this time next year. But she stepped out and got the admission. When it got to the point for the payment, God showed up through people from different parts of the world. So why am I saying this? Your problem, I said that, I elaborated more on it last week. Your problem is not money. Step out. The miracle you are waiting for, the resources you are waiting for, the people you are waiting for to get it done are waiting for you actually on the way. You think you are waiting for them, but they have been positioned in places where they're actually waiting for you to take those steps. For some of you, there are platforms. Some of you are meant to be public speakers. You are meant to create platforms. No. Start it out. God will send people to you that will aid you to accomplish those dreams. But those people will not come until you step out, until you start building something. That's the truth. Step out. If God laid it in your heart, then there are resources, there are humans that He has positioned to help you achieve them. But you must step out first. Some of you need to start writing some exams that you've been delaying. You need to register. Forget about not being prepared. And the way I did mine, I paid for the exam and told them that I'll give you a date. Because I had paid my money, I had to get international passport and go through the hurdle. If I had not paid that money, once I felt any little hindrance on the way, I would withdraw. But because I had committed myself, I knew I had to see it to the end. So you need to learn the power of commitment. And for some of us, we need to change. It's part of the work you have to do this December. You need to change your circle. Your circle. Who are those people that you spent most of your life with this year, 2020, and they never changed your life? They never contributed anything positive to your well-being. It might be time that you change your circle. Look, it's not bad. Friendship is you need to understand that you don't owe anybody friendship in 2021. You know, some of us actually feel bad when the need arises to withdraw from certain friendships. I normally tell people this: don't withdraw because of rancor or quarrel. But at certain points in life, it's important to actually withdraw from certain kinds of people in order to find yourself. So I'm just giving you bullet points that will help you in the analysis that you are going to do this December. If you don't invest in your future will never arrive. Your future demands investment from you. For some of you also, that investment might mean next year being willing to buy books, Set a mark for yourself. By the end of next year, outside academic books, I should have read 20 books or 24 books, 2 every month. Be clear about it. Be very clear. Write it down, and it will help you on your journey towards becoming what you want by the end of 2021. Do not leave 2021 up to chance the way you did 2020. Most of us have left most of the miraculous things that have happened in my life started because I took steps as it was laid in my heart. So I want to encourage you today. Do not leave 2021 up to chance the way you did 2020 and 2019. There are few people doing what I'm telling you. Be one of those few people that would say that will tell themselves, 2021, I will be intentional about my life. I will be intentional about the result I want to see. I will be intentional about the person I want to meet myself to be by the end of 2021. I will be intentional about it. Mean it, aim at it, keep at it. And if you do these things and add it up with prayers, I'm a Christian again, I would like to remind you, and add it up with prayers, you will go far. And when I mean prayers, I don't necessarily mean 6 hours every day. No, I don't necessarily mean that. I keep telling people this, that your heart posture towards God is more important than how long you spend praying. When you do these things that I'm telling you, combine planning, combine vision, planning, the right atmosphere, which involves people, folding your sleeves to actually put in the work according to the plan you have. And then grace, the grace of God. If you combine these 5 elements in your life, there is no height in life you can imagine that you will never get to. Yeah, I listed 5. The last one is there, grace, because you don't own your life. If you combine these 5 elements, there is no height you can imagine that you will not get to. Like I said, I just want to admonish you concerning 20. I want you to be different by the end of 2021. That's my desire. I want everybody here to look back in some years' time and say, I'm glad that I joined in RGP 2020. That was the turning point of my life. I heard things that transformed my life, that forced me to take decisions in 2021 that turned my life around. I have turning points in my life. I can tell you about the milestones that transformed my life. One of them was in my SS1. When I was in junior secondary school, I was just one of those. I was not interested in anything academics. I was just playing football. That was all I was interested in. God gave me a good brain by His grace, but I was not even interested in first position. Just pass my exam and go home. I was in moral instruction one day. An ex-student of my school, an alumnus that did exceptionally well when he was in SS3, represented the school and state in so many inter-secondary school competitions and won a lot of awards. He was in medical school that year. He was in his third year in medical school that year. So he came to talk to us in moral instruction. I was there like every other student. And he told us a story of one competition he went to that he did so well to a point where it warranted having a handshake with the governor. I was so inspired. So I went to him. I said, so you mean, I was a little boy, but somehow I had learned the power of determination. I went to him. I said, so you mean if I work hard in school, I really work hard, I will have the opportunity to meet with the governor? He said yes. He said, I asked him again, like seriously. He said yes. I said, okay, that was all I needed. He became my mentor. I took his phone number. I told him that I wanted him to mentor me. Do you know what happened? That holiday, I went back home, SS1 holidays. I went back home. I bought a mathematics textbook. I read it throughout that holidays. While others were playing at home, I started from page 1 to catch up mathematics. I read it from page 1 to the final page. By the time we are coming into SS2, I had finished the curriculum for SS1, SS2, and almost SS3. That was the beginning of the transformation of my life. But it started with a single decision. If you don't make a decision and decide to follow up your decision, nothing you've heard will avail you anything. In fact, I will tell you this. Most of us, if we apply 10% of what we've heard in this life, our lives will change. We'll hear so much and we'll never apply them. So I don't want this to be another one, and just another example of many of such things you've heard in the past. I want to admonish you. I don't classify myself as a motivational speaker. I want to admonish you to apply these things. If you do, if you refuse to be distracted, your life will not remain this. I can assure you that, because life is guided and guarded by principles. Success is repeatable in any part of the world, under any circumstances. If you apply these things, you will have exactly the same results. Unfortunately, most humans don't apply them. That's why only few humans have results. So that's my encouragement to you this evening. If you missed out on our past series, I think they have them recorded. You can check them out. I said a lot in the past series. You can check them out, refresh your memory, write down, take down notes, and it will help you. They will be like guides for you while you plan for this year. Again, invest this December. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for listening. I think this is the last one for the year. So Merry Christmas in advance. You certainly won't have me again here till the end of the year, at least. God bless you. Thank you for listening.
Well, thank you so much, Sarwina, for sharing that. Thank you so much. So at this point, I want to ask if anybody has any question or comment for Mr. Winner. Anybody? So if nobody has anything that they would like to share, I would just want to say again a big thank you to Sarwina. Thank you so much, sir, for the past couple of weeks. Thank you for everything that you have taught us so far. Thank you for taking out your time consistently to come and share these things with us. We're really grateful. Thank you so much, and we don't take it for granted. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I think one thing that we can all take away from what Sarwina has shared with us today is that invest this December. As you go back, decide to make our plans, concrete plans, not just abstract plans, concrete plans with milestone for the new year. Don't just leave your new year up to chance. Sarwina has said, go back, take out time. If it's 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, as long as you can take out time, do an evaluation of this year, see what you did wrong, see what didn't go right, and make plans on how to make it better next year. So please and please, if you need to listen to all the videos that Sarwina has, all the things that Sarwina has taught us in the past week, it's on YouTube. Go on YouTube. I would post the link again on this page before we all go. So go back, listen to it all again, and make our concrete plans, set milestones, very important. So please do not take this for granted. So at this time, if nobody has anything that they want to share, we're about to wrap up the meeting. So I'm going to give you a chance. Anybody has anything to share, ask before we go, while I look for the link to the videos. Anybody? Okay. Give me a second. Okay. I think I will just post the link to the videos on the WhatsApp platform. I believe everybody here is on the WhatsApp platform, so I'll post it there. So I just want to say thank you again to everybody. Thank you so much for being a part of this vision from the start till now. Thank you for being part of the different strategy sessions. So today is the end of it, but it's not the end of us. So we're still going to go back, and put into implementation the things that we've learned into. Oh, okay, somebody's on the platform. Jules, can you maybe give me your number so I add it to the platform so you get all the information that we roll out? Would that be fine with you? You could send it to me.
All right, I will do that.
All right, thank you. So that I add you and then we send it. Oh, yeah, there's a comment here. Aniete says, thank you, Sawina. I learned about commitment, discipline, and taking actionable steps. I've always known this, but it's hard to apply. It's been hard to apply each of them. Yeah, so that's a comment we have. Thank you, Anita, for the comment. Okay, so thank you again, everybody. Thank you for being a part of us. Thank you for being present throughout the strategy session. As I said before, we're not done this for this year, so we still have plans going on in the group chat. So always check the messages, be part of the different volunteer groups that we have up, and so let's start putting into actions the things that we've learned so far. Thank you again so much, everyone. And I think with this we can call it an evening. Oh wait, someone has a question. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, sorry for the late
No, it's fine.
raising of hand. Just something popped into my head, and this question is for Winner. Do you think some people are born to be successful, while some are just not born to be successful? And I will tell you the reason why I asked this question. It's motivated by the last comment that this guy made, Aniete. Almost everybody know these things, okay? But the problem remains in the doing. Not just in the doing, at that point where nobody is advising you, nobody is telling you whatever, but then you just embark on the action. It seems to be very few people that have that will. Just look at what you narrated, Winner, at a moral instruction class, and I'm sure there were at least 50 students at that moral instruction. And then you just walked up to this guy, he just said that, and you had the will to read a textbook from cover to cover. I can relate with what you are saying, but the truth is that how many people can do that despite all the advice? That's why I asked that question. So please, I want to hear your comment, Winner. Thank you.
That's a very dicey question. Fundamentally, not being God, I believe that we all have the capacity to succeed, but we have our differences. Like we have personality differences. There are people, I've met different kinds of humans. There are people that by default are naturally driven. Like they don't need too much of an external factor to push them. And there are others that could be even more talented than these other persons. But they are not that driven. In fact, all through my time in my university, I met driven type. She had the capacity, in my own opinion, to have been at least the best graduating female student in my department, but she didn't. Not because, and in my own rating, I don't like comparison really, but in my own rating, I would rate her as, at least from my understanding, the smartest girl we had in the department by nature, by virtue of gifting. So now, I don't believe in excuses. Whoever you are, whatever your personality makeup is, there is always a way. You see, progress starts from identifying the need for progress. Now, I will say it again. Progress starts from identifying the need for progress. So you really can't make progress until you find out that, oh, I have a problem and I need to push. So in this situation, I would like you to, whoever you are listening to me, evaluate yourself. Are you that kind of person that is driven? Now, there are people that naturally, they need a push. And people can actually be transformed. I don't know how to put it. I believe in the power of choice. When you do a certain thing consistently over some time, and you can maintain that, The human mind is elastic. Let me give you an example. Almost all of us here, we've been brushing our teeth for the past how many years? Who is motivating you to brush your teeth? Do you know it's possible not to? There are people that are living on the streets and so many persons that don't brush their teeth. But you've come to a point in your life where you have personally seen the need to brush your teeth. You don't need you don't need a prophet to tell you the need. In that same way, you saw the need to brush your teeth. Even if you are not that personal, that's so much driven person, by the time you get out of here, sit back and there's a difference between doing something because you are told to do it and doing it because you've personally seen the need to do it. When we personally find the need to do things, we seem to be more motivated. So how do I mean? I tell people how to train your mind is actually by starting with little goals. For such a person that is not that self-driven, your very first little goal might be to pick a book and tell yourself, by 25th December, I'm going to finish this book. Write it down. I have a friend, a recent friend. If you go to the wall of her room, she has a lot of papers on the wall, written down different things. I was wowed. Write it down on your room. I am going to finish Sizwe Banzi is Dead, this book, by 25th December. Every day, I'm going to read 50 pages. You come into your room, you look at it. When you train your mind by little goals, over time, that same you that think you are not motivated, your mind will develop. Your mind will be stretched. The mind is elastic. My life is a proof that the human mind is elastic. But it depends on how much you want it. Then, in addition, if you are not that person that is so driven, there is something I call progress by induction. And basically, in electromagnetism, you can transfer magnetic properties to another magnetic material that by nature, it has the capacity to be magnetic, but it has not been in a magnetic field. So all you need is just to keep it within that atmosphere where the magnetic field is for some time. By induction, it will pick up. So that's why I said for some of us, we might need to change our circle. The Bible said that a company of the wise maketh wise a person. A company of the wise maketh wise. So even if you were not wise before, when you intentionally surround yourself with wise persons, over time, brother, sister, you will find yourself thinking the way they think. So if you are not the person that is driven, identify people that are driven, identify people that have a healthy value system, identify people that know where they're going to. If you follow them closely, you will get there. I know what I'm telling you. Let me give you another practical example. Do you know, when I was in secondary school, by the grace of God, I did very well in secondary school. I grew up in an area where everything was about football and life. I grew up in Onitsha. By all standard, I shouldn't be where I am. That is the truth. But after I determined to be intentional about my life, and my life started being transformed, I was attending a lot of secondary school competitions, representing my school and the states. Do you know, one day, I was just coming back from school. In my neighborhood, I didn't know there was this young man in my neighborhood, Victor. I didn't know he had been taking careful note of my life. He had been monitoring my life. He's my age mate. He just stopped me on the road and told me that I like the pattern of your life. I want to follow you. I want to be like you. What I'm telling you, I was in secondary school. He was in DMBS. I was in CKC. So he told me he wanted to be my friend. We became friends. I became his mentor till today. This young man is not so driven, but he attached himself to me. And I saw him like my brother. There's nothing I tell him to do that he won't do. If I tell him to leave his university, he will do that. You know, there were times he wanted to shift away. There were times he wanted to leave school. I told him, all I needed to do was just to tell him one word: hey, don't do that. That was all. At times he would struggle. He would give me all sorts of reasons. I told him, This is where you are. My being attached to my life by God's grace expanded the young man's vision. This is someone that on a very good day, he should be selling slippers in Ochanjome market by virtue of his environment. He grew up in a place where he was with his uncle in a one-room apartment. All they were doing was tailoring. It's not bad. But you know that kind of tailoring that just repair people's clothes and they give you 100 naira, 200 naira. He was a big boy. He was doing well in secondary school financially at that stage, at that standard, by that standard. But when he became my friend, somehow I started expanding his mind. I remember then when I tell him, do you know it's possible for a young person in his 20s to be earning? I started with a very low number, 200,000 naira. He told me, no, that is not possible. How can a young person? What I'm telling you is a true life story. He told me, no, it's not possible. How can you? It's too much. How can a young person? What? I laughed. I told him that what I told you is small. It's possible for you to build your life to a point where you'll be making $1 million a month. He kept watching me. By my 4th year, I joined Shell for an internship. He followed up the transformation that my life went through. And as I was moving, he was tagging along. Today, if not for ASU strike, he would graduate from the university as a naval engineer, naval architecture engineer from a very good university in Nigeria. This is someone that on a very good day, by virtue of his environment, by virtue of the kind of influence over his life, he would have dropped out of school. In fact, so many times he almost dropped out. But he would always tell me that anytime we talk on the phone, it's as if my entire being is revitalized. So on a good day, recently he called me, so some months ago, he wanted to, during the ASU strike, he wanted to run for a program. I told him, no, go for another program. You might not make much money instantly, but if you train yourself through this will give you so much more leverage in the future in terms of IT. And he listened to me. So you see, you can tag along with people. If you find good people and tag along with them, a company of the wise make it wise. That is a fact. So either ways, you have no excuse to remain where you are. Either way, naturally, there are people that are more driven than others. I personally don't believe everybody is meant by nature. I don't like saying this, to be a CEO. But there are people that are meant to be what I call Aarons, that can support Moses in the vision God gave Moses. And they can do it fundamentally well and find their own fulfillment and purpose working with another person. You can be one of such person and it's not bad. So what am I saying in effect? If you are listening to me today, there is always a way. There is no excuse. There is always a way. You can stretch your mind, do little things. Give yourself little assignments. And for some of you, you might really need to change your circle next year. If you found yourself throughout this year in the midst of friends that have no purpose, have no dream, whenever they gather, all they talk about is BB, Nigeria, and Buhari, you won't make any progress. Believe me. If you tag along with dreamers, you will become a dreamer with time. That is the truth. If you tag along with dreamers, you become a dreamer with time. So if you feel you are not that much self-driven, there are people around you that have the character traits that you need to build your life. Find them. And most importantly, I tell people, success for me is beyond financial progress and career progress. Character progress is important to me. Find people that have the strength of character to help you develop an all-round growth. And then people that have vision, people that love humans genuinely and won't withhold any form of advice, any form of thing they can tell you to help your progress. Find such persons, you will grow. So either way, tell yourself, either way, I will grow, I will progress. You can grow by association if you are not self-driven. but it's your responsibility to find that. Being a Christian, I will cite this example to you. When David was chased out and he became a fugitive, he was chased out by Saul and he became a fugitive. The Bible recorded that when he ran to a particular cave, fugitives in Israel, people that were chased out of their families, useless people by description of their societal standards, some of them were riffraffs, attached themselves to David and became his friends. Do you know what happened? Those same set of persons that were riffraffs were the people that the Bible recorded at the end of David's life. These were the great men of David. All of them from A to Z became great. Many of them were those that single-handedly killed thousands of Philistines. They did so many exploits that are mind-blowing. But these are people that were riffraffs before they attached themselves to David. So either way, if you are not David, by associating with David, you can become a great man too. So you might need to find your own David to help you grow. And that is wisdom. I know this does not answer the full question, but I wish this might have helped. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarina, for that response, and thank you, Jude, for your question. Does anyone have any additional comments that they want to add or any other question?
Is Jude still around? Let me know if he got a satisfying reply.
He's still here.
Okay. Yes, I'm here. Winner, thank you so much. I'm satisfied with your response. In fact, you didn't answer it unidimensionally the way I asked it. You answered it multidimensionally. I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. So anybody else, any additions or questions? Okay. All right then. Okay, so also you can go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
You can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you, first of all, Team Renaissance. Thank you also, Brawina, for this continuous flow of enlightenment and drive for us and for everybody. I mean, currently on this platform. I'll just make some few comments. In fact, a lot of things you said have, I think, towards the later part of this December, has been is more like you've been peeping into, let me speak from a personal point of view, peeping into what has been happening to me lately. So I'll first of all start by saying this. Can everyone hear me? Why do I keep feeling like I'm talking to myself?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. If we don't learn through targets, or by a form of association, then we might learn through pain to get where we want to get to. And the last I checked, very few people want to go through pain to get to where they want to get to. Very few people want to be like a Jonah trying to run away from what God has told him to do. Very few people. Very few. Like Winner said, a lot of us, and I mean, I know in the coming years that a lot of us will look back at this, Friday night, 9 p.m. to maybe 10:30, 11, and remember that they were more like, cement and gravel mixed together and trying to gel us up. I mean, so I give a personal experience that is currently ongoing. I've never written a book in my life. I have never, ever written a book in my life. In fact, the work I do, so sometimes I have to review reports of maybe slides, PowerPoint slides of maybe 400 pages. And trust me, when you have people, generate these slides, come up with facts, findings, and all that, and send to you, and you have to still take your time to painstakingly go through it again, and review and revert and everything. And then you now have to send it to your manager. So you are sending it to your manager because you want to make sure that what you are doing, you are sending to your manager, and you don't want to send it in such and such a way. Your manager will look at you as though you have poor review skills, quote unquote. Right? Now, I have personal jobs, and when this time I'll talk about this is an interesting story. When the time is right, I will surely talk about this, at least to the all of us that are here. I'll give this life experience, but I need it to mature properly. But I'm saying that currently, as I speak, there's a book, I'm sure, for some of us that do history a lot of us might have those books in our shelf. I have never written a book before. I find myself sometimes after 2, after 3, after 2, after 3, lately, having to review this book on behalf of the author, who is almost an 89-year-old retired general. He fought in the Biafran War. It was the general GOC of the Biafran Army. I've not only met, it's not just that I've only met him and his family, but I've had to start to review that book because the idea is we want to reprint that book again and add some other things to it. Am I collecting ₦1? No. For me, it's like, how do I put it? First of all, how I even got to meet them is a totally different story altogether. But one thing I know is that when your heart agrees with something and your heart is close to it, and I know, okay, yeah, this is a Christian forum, but sometimes there's an energy that sees that this is where your mind is on, or what your mind is on. It would normally bring that to your platform. Like Rina said, we've all had ideas. I believe Renaissance would have been the idea of maybe someone else that is not even on this platform, but through maybe not being motivated, maybe taking things seriously, they would have let it slip. And then just the same way God would remind Elijah that, look, you think you're the only one? Bro, there are 450 other people that have refused to bow. You think you're the only one? There are other 450. God will give it to another person. So for me, for instance, in working on the book, I said, see, Walter, is almost a game of life, quote unquote. This is just like your life's work that you have to do. So it's not a good way to think, for instance, but you are thinking of it that what if, God forbid, you wake up one morning and hear this man is no more. No. I wake up from my sleep and start working on it again. The target is to finish it by first quarter of next year. And by God's grace, I've got more than 70%. As my last count, I've got more than 70% of it. Both the old and then the new one that we're adding. But what am I saying? It did something to me. Like I said, I've never written a book before, but I've had to rewrite, work on it, append it together. When they are done, the next thing I'll tell myself is, so you can do this. That means you can do your own book too. And then, like Rina said, so the mind is like an energy. You start to see possibilities. I was reading I don't know. I know a couple of us may like Obama, a couple of us may not like him, but I began to read his book just today, The Promised Land, and there was something he said. Let me bring my laptop so I'll be able to read it as he said it. Very succinct. Just a minute, please. Yeah. Just a minute, sorry. Okay. So there's something he said. Where is this? Yeah. He said, "Don't discount our powers." So this is a quote from someone. His name is Robert Frost, right? He says, "Don't discount our powers. We have made a pass at the infinite. Don't discount our powers." This guy might probably be a poet. We have made a pass at the infinite. For me, he's saying, don't limit yourself. I mean, the opportunities will come. And when they do come, like I said, if we don't seize them, then through pain, which a lot of us don't want, we learn to seize those opportunities when as they come. Now, think about it. For the joy ahead, set ahead of him, he endured the cross, despising the shame. You think about it as, if I get this done today, like when I have said a lot of times, a lot of us, including yours sincerely, should be doing much, 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 much more than we are doing. In secondary school, I think I fell under the shall I call it, the one that was not so motivated like that. So through pain, I got 29th in class out of the class of 31. And then I went home that first term, and my dad gave me the beating of my life. Now this was military school in Jos. Second term, I was, I think, 16th or so. But hey, the kind of friends I kept. Like when I said, the kind of friends I kept. This guy in question was not such a driven guy. He was just, okay, you know what? My guardian is bringing provisions. My guardian is doing this. My guardian will soon come. Okay, let's go to school shop. You know, he was just that kind of person. And me, I was, always following him around. I just wanted, to make new friends and all that. Then I got to just one third term. And then this guy, I see somebody, over time I got to find out that I even senior him. He swept literally everything. When I say best in English, before he gets to his seat, they're saying best in maths, they're calling his name. Before he gets to his seat, they're calling best in science, in Introtech. Before he gets to his seat, they're calling him best in transport. Before he gets to his seat, they're calling him. And then the commandant goes, if you want to be a XSX, that's his name. If you want to be, let me say winner, if you want to be a winner, Anigbogu, for instance. And then I said, okay, you know what, Walter? This guy should be your new friend. From just 2 friends till today. If I say that I am the way I am, it was largely from that guy. From 29th in class, in my SS3, we were only 3. We were 3 by the end of our SS3 that were top 3. Winner knows the first. Winner and John, you should know the first person. No, Anile was second. This guy was first. Zubi was second. I was third. Till today. And 3 of us used to be very close like that. My Christian life, everything. Time, yes, maybe 10, 15 years, we didn't see, but we're always talking on phone. But at least this year and last year, we've always, and we still have the same ideologies, shockingly, the same thought pattern, same thought process, everything. Because you know what? You're with him, he's reading, you just have to read. He's praying, you have to pray. You pray it. You don't need to be told. And then quietly, if it's my younger sister, she'll say, and what I just new book overnight? Even me, I surprised myself. Some of us, like Wina said, might need to change. And there's no emotion about this. You don't need to be emotional about it. Yes, have your fun. But like you said, there are other Christmases that are waiting far ahead of us. Remember, for the joy set ahead of him, he enjoyed the cross, despising the shame. Think about that thing that you want to do. Far, far, far. Think about that life you want to impact. Like I talked about this book, I said I'm doing it to impact a generation that if I look back, I literally, it's like my widow's mite. It's not going to do anything. But this is my widow's mite, my own contribution to this generation, to this brilliant generation that, fought for something very noble. And each day, I always tell myself, each day, tomorrow, if I wake up and I see it in the library, I'll say, yes, at least 80-90% I was involved in making this book come out. Because this one has children that are 55, 56, people that don't have time for any of these things again. That is an opportunity I saw. And I grab it with two hands. When you're going with one, to hear what much is given, how does the Bible say it? The one who, I'm trying to remember, to hear how much is, the one who has, I don't know if someone can help me. To he who has more be given, and to he who has not,
even the one he has shall be taken away from him.
To he who has not, even the one
that he
has will be taken away from him.
Yeah, it's a principle in life.
Do you follow me, my people? In fact, I think of this thing. I think of when the Bible talks about the kingdom of heaven and sowing and reaping, and says the kingdom of heaven is like a man who went to go and sow seed and he went and slept. You just do your own part, but you just have to play a part. Honestly, honestly, guys, friends, and I know I was spoken parallel about this. I know there are a lot of things that have been happening. I see myself, I tell my wife sometimes, I see myself like a Jonah. When I say Jonah, what I mean is this. This is not where you are supposed to be. So you try this, it fails. You try this, it fails. You go up, it fails. You come down, it fails. You do it, fails. And everybody's like, you use your village people. But sitting down on my seat, I know it's not. I know it is nudging me to not look outwards, but to look inwards. And that is the spirit. I don't know whether I needed this particular project I'm currently doing to get me to that mood. How it came is a total miracle. I'll say it one of these days. It's unexpected. But the key there is do not despise angels. Do not despise strangers, because people have entertained strangers. In the presence of entertaining strangers, have entertained angels that will lead you to that thing that you think is far. Is this rather careless looking stranger that will lead you to it? No nudging, no preparation, no nothing. To just come. Then you know that. You know. Some people will say it's God. Some people say, sorry. Some people say it's grace, is this, is that. Fine. If I have Muslim brethren here, they may start thinking on that. And so I prefer to sometimes sound providence, energy that will bring it to you. Divine providence will bring it to you. You have to seize the opportunity. So just to say once again, Winner, thank you so much. This is December 11. I really wish, I know this is merriment. We have to, yes, enjoy, but think about it. Think about this thing I'm going to say now. he did not live. He who did not live after he had died. I don't know my grandfather. I don't know my great-grandfather. I don't even know their names, funny enough. I just know I have their surname. But in terms of what they've done, I can't see. But folks, I know Thomas Edison did the bulb or invented the bulb I'm using to, read this stuff. Or I know that Bill Gates is the brain behind the HP laptop I'm using. For those of us that have iPhones, we remember Wozniak, we remember Steve Jobs. If you lack dreamers around you, please go to YouTube and watch documentaries on dreamers. Einstein, Steve Jobs, all these people were dreamers. Sometimes we need that. We may leave it because of work pressure. We come back, we are tired. Like someone said, Buhari, how to finish Nigeria, pata, pata, pata. All those things. Those things are distractions. Honestly, for me, they're distractions. If you can't find dreamers around you, which winner, if I don't know how it is over there, but here, to be honest, for me, or maybe I'm not really simple. I always have that thing that we do not. I don't know how to explain it without sounding like an atheist or like someone who doesn't believe in God. But we don't have, So now the 18th century and early 19th century were that was the era, 17th, 18th, 19th century, era of inventions, era of a lot of the things that we're enjoying today. That was the backdrop of a lot of them. That was just some of these things were invented and found. Would you say some of they had to go to the mountain to pray? No. More or less, or more of the time, or most of the time, they had to stay, in a quiet place and think. And when it talks about meditate and think deeply, they thought deeply. They thought and thought and thought till the idea broke in their minds. But God, we need to see somebody who is going to take that walk. For faith that works is there. God, we need to see someone who will do that work. It's not going to, like when I say, it's not going to go and stay 6 days or 5 days, or oh, by God will help us. Oh, by the grace of God. That's laziness, because you will not be inspired to work. I used to work with an Indian before, and she would say it's only in Nigeria that she has seen that Christians will pray for something that God has put in their power. God has given is in your power to do. So dreaming is not. Dreaming is. It requires the work. You have to put in that work. You have to sweat. I mean, for instance, if you don't know a story, in the course of this stuff I'm doing, I came upon a lot of this. I said, no, this is not correct. And then when I went and I met the old man, I said, sorry, sir, I know this. It's not possible. And he realized, said, okay, you are correct. This is not. But it will come from work. If you someone will know, yes, you know this thing. So, I mean, this is my own 2 cents. Just to say again, thank you. 2021, I mean, I know it's going to be a very, very prosperous year for us. We need to start from today to put in that work and prayerfully, of course, ask God to direct us. Ask God to direct us, and then you would see how things would. So you have to make the first step. Like you said, make the first step first. Just make the first step. Make the first step. Make the first step. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, Walter. There was something you said I just want to highlight. I think I was in SS2 when I read that book by Anthony Robbins, Awakening the Giant Within. He says something that there are 2 things that motivate people. Number 1 is the quest for happiness. No, there are things that you want to do and you're like, if only I can achieve this, it will make me so happy. And the second thing is the fear of pain. The both of them are equal motivators. And I'll tell you this, if you refuse to take your life in your hands, in the next few years, you'll be a slave to others. It's a fact, I will tell you. I will recommend a book for all of you. Go and read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Steve Jobs, no. What's his name? This Amazon man. Jeff Bezos says something. He said that by the time you are 80, the things you will regret are not the things you did that failed. The things you will regret are the things you could have done, but you never did. Those are the things you will regret. That book that has been on your mind for a long time that you never wrote. In fact, recently, when I meet multiple persons, Facebook, Instagram, so many places, this has been happening for more than 1 year, have been coming to me to say, hey, you should write. My pastor told me, look, if you don't want to write, I will go to your social media and compile everything you've written and turn it into a book. So many persons. And the truth is, many a time, there are people, a lot of persons call me for questions. They have issues. They want to know what I think. There are things I want to say, and I don't have time. I wish I can recommend a book for them. And you know what I discovered? I read a lot, Mike. I discovered that there is no book that has successfully said it the way I really want to say it. That was when I started knowing as an individual that, hey, you just have to write. You just have to say it in your own unique way. You just have to say it in your own unique way. There is a voice, there is a thought pattern you have that is peculiar, which no other author has been able to boast. And you just have to be able to put that down for people. And it's something that people are seeing that they're demanding to have. 2 days ago, a friend of mine, a doctor in US, randomly chatted me up. Hey, Winner, you have to write. For some of us, these kind of things have been coming for so many other ideas in your heart. Chinua Achebe says something that what actually led him to write was, as a young boy, anytime he came across a bookshelf, he always felt that that bookshelf was not yet complete until he could see his own book attached to that bookshelf. It was a feeling within. No matter how big the bookshelf is or was, he never felt the bookshelf was complete until they had his own title. For some of us, there is that idea, there is that firm you are meant to build. There's that platform, you are that organization, that NGO you are meant to form. Anytime you think about a problem, you feel like nobody is doing it the way. I will tell you one thing, if you refuse to do it like Walter said, in some years' time, ideas fly, people will do it. And you will look and see people living exactly the life you had imagined to live. And you will be in a situation where you are struggling to survive. You are struggling to feed your children. You are struggling to get out in the morning and come back by 9 p.m. You are shivering because there is an economic meltdown. You will look at people up there doing exactly what you know you are called to do, but you refused to do. So the fear of pain is one of my greatest motivations. I'm so afraid of looking back by the time I'm 40 and realizing that there are so many things I could have done that I never did. I'm so afraid of it. And it's one of the things motivating my life. Somebody asked the question, the book, it's Awaken the Giant Within, right? Yes, by Anthony Robbins. Awaken the Giant Within by Anthony Robbins. And you can also check up this other book of his, Ultimate Power. But you should start with Awaken the Giant Within by Anthony Robbins. I read that in SS2, SS3, if I'm right. Then The Ultimate Power by the same author, Anthony Robbins. So yeah, that's the truth. Your regrets in so many years' time will be things that you would have done, things you could have done that you never did. You will never regret something you did that didn't work out. And now you're a young man, now you're a young lady, you have the strength, you have the energy, you have the freedom, you have less people dependent on you. It's time to start. And you know what? take a step. At the beginning of this year, little by little, I started writing out drafts on my on my phone. I'll just pick up my notebook and type something, drafts, wonderful drafts. Little by little, I was sending these drafts to people just to read and enjoy. They send it out and they were like, my friends are asking for the full book. I was like, okay. And I woke up this December and realized that I already have over 118 of such drafts. And each of these drafts is able to form just a chapter of a book. So you see, little steps might be what you need to achieve what you want next year. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sawina, for that. And thank you also, Walter, for what you shared. Thank you so much. Does anyone else have a comment or any additions before we go? Okay, so on behalf of the Renaissance team, I want to say thank you again to Sawina. Thank you so much for your time. And also thank you to everyone that has been part of this series this year. Thank you so much. Like I said earlier, it's not the end of it. We're still going to be passing out information on your group chat and strategizing and making plans. So always pay attention to that. If you've not pinned the group chat on your WhatsApp yet, please do that so that you can get the information that we'll be sending out. Once again, thank you everyone for being a part of this. God bless you and have a great evening.